Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Authors Quill. I hope everyone's having a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, wherever you are on our big, beautiful planet, blue planet. Last I checked, this show goes out to every time zone on the planet, so happy to wherever you happen to be. And for our friends over there on the other side of the world, where it's Sunday or early Sunday morning or the wee hours of Sunday, how are y'all doing out there? All my friends in England right now, which it's about 9 p.m. I hope y'all are having a good old time. And for the rest of Europe, we always love having you on board. And as far as Asia and you know, I always forget because Russia's part of Asia, but for some reason I always want to give Russia props separate to the rest. So I have to quit doing that. John, how you doing? Yeah. Oh, you mean this John? What about him? Yeah, he's cute. I know that. Don't worry about that. But welcome everyone. I really do hope you enjoy the show tonight, and we're going to introduce you to the guests in a few minutes, and we have a second hour guest coming on too. But you should be familiar with both guests. So anyway, on that note, John, what are you up to?
Well, I'm just
Getting
tickled
in
pink here
trouble.
that I'm here with Ciruelo and from Spain, but been having a good time. We just locked him in a couple of weeks. Emily and I will be going to go to St. Louis for the annual conference for the Western Writers of America conference there. So I get to pull out my boots and my hat and all my Western stuff, which I love doing. And for 4 days, I'm going to be like just
Well,
like
you ought to get Carmen to call Coast because isn't that George Norrie's hometown, St. Louis?
really.
I think it is. Yeah, I think that's where he's got his cave, his man cave under the mountain. Actually, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I talked to him. It's been about 2 years, so
Yeah.
but still, it's an interesting place. And so we still on 99 cent before we get started.
Let me just while you introduce Cyril, let me just have a look and see. I think it is, but let me just double check.
Yeah, while he's looking. And Cirilla, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank
When
you, Joe.
before we got him, before we came in, when you were talking about Argentina. Now, I haven't been to Argentina in God 40 years, so I'm kind of dying to know how they are today. I mean, it's been a long time. The last time I was there, I shouldn't even say how young I was. I don't want to give nothing away, but it's been a long time. But I noticed when I was there, it was either really 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 comfortable or really 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 rough. There didn't seem to be any middle ground. But that's been 50 years now, so I'm imagining all that's changed. And I got a lot of friends down there. Matter of fact, a couple of my directors live down there, and I always get such mixed reviews of Argentina. I guess it just depends where you live in the country. Some places sound just freaking fabulous. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
hmm Yeah, well, actually, probably I live in Barcelona. I've been
Mhm.
living here for
In
40
Spain.
years already,
Spain's beautiful.
but I was born in Argentina, and I'm going back to Argentina at least once a year, uh, mostly twice a year for conventions, book fair, and family. And I would say that Argentina actually is a mystery in terms of trying to describe the situation. Actually, it's com- uh, talking about Argentina from Europe is very difficult. I have to explain many things to European people because actually Argentina is 6 times larger than Spain.
Yeah,
It
it's
has
big.
this, for instance, it has the same population, and half of the population in Argentina lives just in one city, which is Buenos Aires.
Mm.
So
Which
that
we
makes it,
broadcast to.
yeah, that makes it very strange in terms of the European normality, and actually that the beauty, the country is beautiful itself. Actually, the nature in Argentina is marvelous, and it has all the different temperatures from north to the south, which makes it very rich and beautiful. And okay, Buenos Aires, which is the huge city and the capital, and is very strange also to and complicated to analyze in terms of rich or poor. Actually, is very comfortable living in Buenos Aires. now is, well, actually, I was there 2 weeks ago, and actually I see it okay, but I know that there's always been economic problems.
Yeah.
So that makes it hard for most people in terms of working and
It's gonna be it's
reaching the end of the month. But somehow people got used to that, and somehow people still live. So I was there for the book fair
true.
2 weeks ago, and I couldn't believe how many books people in Argentina consumes. It's actually something unexplicable compared to Spain, for instance, and there are many other things like that that are actually unexplicable from Argentina. But it's
Yes.
it's okay, and people is always friendly, and they are
Everybody was nice when I was there. I mean,
mostly happy. Yeah.
everybody was really friendly. And now, when I realized how big the country was, we were flying in. We flew off the carrier, and we were coming in for a landing. And the guy said, "I said, well, isn't the airport right?" He said, "Oh no, Joe, we're still 5 hours from the airport." I'm like, "What? we're in a jet, no less." I'm like, 5 hours? He's like, yes. How big is this country? It's pretty big, dude. He said, "Remember, it's half of the bottom of the continent." I was like, "Oh, I guess it is kind of big." But I guess because people just see that narrow part of the bottom, they think, "Oh, it's not real big." You know, those maps of the continents are not the most accurate maps.
Exactly.
And I think it's time that we redo this. But one of the reasons I was asking is recently the U.S. is starting this America's Pack. They used to have one back, and I think it was in the 60s, might have been the 70s, but where countries like Argentina, quite a few actual South American countries, I think there was one or two Central American countries in there they were talking about. They just want to bring them up. They want to bring they don't really want to change anything. They just want to bring their population up to the rest of the America's population. They want to catch them up, like Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia. They're like when you start talking about infrastructure like internet and things like that, they're 20 years, 30 years behind. And it's something that can be caught up easy. But what got me thinking about that is when you said about the book consumption, when you think about Europe today, when I was growing up, Europe was a book reading magnet. Just everybody, there was bookstores everywhere, just like they were in the United States. And then the internet came along, and slowly but surely the internet has eroded away at the amount of people reading books, which is confusing, but I guess most people would rather do this, excuse me, y'all,
Yeah.
than read a book, which I'll never understand that personally. But, you know, I'm big into literacy. I live in a state where for 100 years, they didn't even know what freaking literacy was. I live, I'm from New Orleans. I'm on the Gulf Coast in Mississippi, and Mississippi has a lot to be desired for literacy. It's gotten better. I'm not gonna lie, but it's got a long ways to go. So what got you into illustrating? I mean,
Carmen says the show's not being broadcast
where?
on YouTube.
Oh, which YouTube? Oh, on it's not. It's on UFO. It's on International Community. International Public Radio. I'm sorry, on YouTube. That's where it's at. It's not on the other one today. Nah, we don't get that page back till later tonight. Somebody got a strike. We're not gonna mention no names, Joe. Yeah, they suspended that account for 7 days over a commercial, no less.
All right.
Yeah, that was kind of. But the other accounts are on, and Rumble and all of those are on too. So everything else, it's just that one page. That's all.
And by the way, since I've already cut into both of your guys' communications, so Rise of the Future Volume 42.
Never heard of
this
it.
one here with this beautiful art by Ciruelo is still on special on Amazon for 99 cents. It's one of those things that it's not a promotion that we're doing. Amazon's doing this because it's been a very popular release. So they're continuing to offer it, the ebook for 99 cents, which is just an amazing offer. So the ebook has all the color pages as well as the color cover on it. And it also has on the ebook, then you've got all the writers and the illustrators, their personal pages is also a link in it, because we can do that. You can't do it on a print book, but you can do it in an ebook. So 99 cents for this ebook. It's amazing, and you just get to see all the art and all these amazing stories. We'll get onto it, and we'll also have Scott Card on lately, who in a little bit later, who's also got a story in here. His most recent story is in here based on Ciruelo's art. So, anyway,
Who the hell is this?
Amazon.com.
Who the hell is this Scott guy I keep hearing about? I've never heard of this guy. I mean, Ciruelo, you ever heard of this guy? I've never heard of this guy, man. Y'all, I think John's just pulling my leg, man. Him and Carmen. That's what I think's going on. You know, I thought about wearing a light blue shirt today just to mess with him. I said, because I got one in the thing. But anyway, but getting back to, I wanted to know how he decided to become an illustrator, and actually a two-part question for you, because I noticed when I was reading through your bio, it said something about books. So are you writing books about art, or are you writing the books, or are you having somebody? I'm curious, because, you know, I get into this stuff a lot. So.
Well, actually, I've been an artist all my life because I started drawing when I was a little kid, and I never stopped. But at the same time, I was reading all my life and eventually writing too, because I needed to write, because sometimes ideas or stories come to my mind to be painted or drawn, but sometimes the ideas are just to be written. And I was writing all my life, but I published my first book. Well, that was 1998, written book. I mean, the story. It was my own Book of the Dragon, in which I wrote most of the stories on it. But then I had another book, another series of books, which were small texts, brief texts, with short ideas or concepts. It wasn't a novel. There are three of those notebooks, as I call them, because they are small texts with a little drawing accompanying it. And so I wrote three of them. Then I wrote a novel, which is Fairies and Dragons, an illustrated book. It's a graphic novel, we could say, which was translated so far into three languages or four languages. And but actually, I'm always writing and illustrating. Of course, that painting and illustrating take me more part of my time, but I love writing, and I'm always trying to improve my techniques, in writing, because of course I have my own ideas that I want to illustrate. So I'm always writing, actually, and I'm working on 2 more books right now, which are going to take me some time, because I try to get them better in terms of technique aspects of the writing.
It's what's amazing. I mean, you do fabulous artwork now. And you're writing the
thank
book.
you.
It's first, I don't know how you find the time to do it. I mean, first off,
Joe, you're a fine one to speak about having time to do stuff. You're crazy busy too. You're like a workaholic just as much as
I like to stay
the other 2 of us here.
I'm not. I ain't gonna lie. I like to stay busy. When I cross over the other side, they said, "Were you busy in your life?" Oh yeah, buddy. I was definitely busy. I can't say I didn't get drove. I was definitely busy.
Now, I originally met Ciruelo at Dragon Con. This was over a decade ago. We met, and was it? I think Larry introduced us.
Yes,
I think so.
Yes,
because I met Larry at Dragon Con, and then he mentioned I should get to know.
You can't see Larry. Do you know how many Larrys there are? Come on, you got to spit out a
What
last
Larry
name.
are we talking about, Joe?
I was thinking Elmore because we were talking dragons.
Good, we're talking Larry Elmore.
But it could have been Niven or what's his face. It could have been a couple of Larrys.
But you knew who I was talking about. You're just.
I did with the audience. The audience is like, who the hell's Larry? They don't know who the hell Larry is.
We are talking about one of the greatest fantasy artists in history, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of
He's
the
fabulous.
most influential artists. He's a pioneer in many aspects in fantasy art, designing dragons and fantasy scenery. So actually, I used to study his artwork when I was a teenager.
Yeah, he's
Then
definitely
many
talented.
years later, I was lucky to work for TSR, the company who was hiring all these artists for Dungeons and Dragons and that stuff, then Magic the Gathering. And so I got to meet him actually, and I felt very honored to meet him in person and to become his friend actually.
Yeah.
He's a lot of fun. There's no
Very.
doubt
So
about it.
we met Ciruelo there and talking with him, and I fell in love with his whole family. His wife is just one of the softest, beautiful people you could ever want to know. And then I met his children. His children were just, oh my gosh, they were just like, they're like, if you could ever, create like who would be like an ideal child. Your daughter was just like the epitome of just like an angel. She was just like, oh my gosh. And then your son, so nice. It's like I realize I'm a little maybe over the top gushing about it, but they had that kind of an impact on me when I met them. Just such a nice family. So it really it speaks well against you as a father and as a leader of the family. And it was just amazing. But then meeting everybody there and working together as a team it was so refreshing to see that. The whole family unit's been somewhat uncreated in America. It's a gradual chiseling away of the family unit by design. We won't get into discussions about psychiatry and stuff like that, but it's definitely by design to uncreate the family unit. But you see what I saw with you was just so wonderful. But anyways, that's when we met, and then invited him to become a judge. And he agreed, and so we met a couple times at Dragon Con. And I remember the first time we met, we had lunch at when he came up to Los Angeles, and he didn't know us and we didn't really know him. So we met for lunch at a California Pizza Kitchen, and he had a salad, and Emily and I had a pizzas, or we had something else. And so he'd take a bite and he'd chew and he'd talk some, and then we finished our pizza and our sandwich, whatever we had, and he was still just merrily just taking the next bite and chewing it. We're like, we're like on the one side of the world, like, okay, we got 10 minutes to eat, let's go. And then Ciruelo was like, okay, we got some definite static happening here.
Yes, I hear that. Must have been when I did that to the site. What the hell is that? Well, we're going to find out right quick. Hold on. Let's see what happens when I do that. What the bleep is that about? Okay, I don't know, guys, what that was all about. Let's see. I still hear it. Y'all hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what that's about. Well, if it drops us, everybody's got the link, right? So I don't know. Let's see. I don't know why it's doing that. It don't make any sense. That is definitely an audio glitch of some kind. Let's see if this. Okay, so there is some kind of interference between us and Ciruelo. It's probably something to do with an underwater line or something. That's what they clicking. It's like something rubbing against it. I'm going to drop you out of the queues, and just that link I sent you earlier, if you got it, just hit it and let it bring you back in. I'm going to see if it clears out when I do that. because for some reason it decided it wants to. Yeah. Now why don't I hear you, John? You muted. There you go.
You hear me?
Yeah, I got you. So I don't know what that was. That was the, and it was right when I clicked on his link for his page. That's what was so odd.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's what it was because it didn't. That was just weird. I hate when we get weird. But you know what? Every now and then, overseas can be overseas. They can be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
It's
you
Jimmy.
just need to start subscribing to Starlink, and you're all set.
They yeah, Elon and his crazy self, man. Isn't he going public here soon?
Pretty soon, I think in July.
I wish he'd go while I still had some money left to spend. It's
Okay, I'm back.
You're back. It's clear. I don't know. It was just some weird glitch between the three of us. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, we got you on the other side of the planet, so things are going to happen sometimes. In the old days, when we first started doing this, when we still had to use dial-up cards and stuff to call people around the world, it was nightmarish. I mean, weird sounds would come out of nowhere. Calls would just get dropped. It was strange. The internet makes it much, much, much better. So, you got any favorite genres that you'd like to do art in when you're illustrating? Wait, let me reverse that
Fantasy.
for a second. Let me ask you this: what is your favorite venue? I mean, your favorite medium? What do you like?
Well, actually, I've been always a traditional painter and illustrator. I mean, I am an old artist, so I am still drawing with pencils on paper, and I'm painting with oils on canvas.
Oh, see, I love you, man.
Yeah, because actually, well, I got used to that during all my career, but at the same time, I'm selling my paintings as part of my main income. So I'm still producing original artwork for that reason, and also because I love that that way of working. I mean, I need to touch the paints and the canvas and the papers, although I still can use digital mediums, Photoshop sometimes, because I need to scan all my original artwork, because I need to commercialize my images for book covers, calendars, magazines, or whatever. So I need to have them digitalized, and I can retouch, I can change, alter the images with Photoshop if I need to alter the image to sell it for a book cover, for instance. So I can do that, but I prefer to be a traditional painter, and even though it's slower than doing it digital, I am still doing it that way.
I prefer oil myself. So I mean,
That's the thing. That's the best way to guarantee you're going to have a continued livelihood, no matter what happens with AI, because it's not going to do oil paintings.
No, I mean but for me, it's the tactile sensation, the smell, the look. I mean, oil to me is just so much better of a way to do art. But that's a personal thing. I mean, and I also grew up in New Orleans, where there's a lot of traditional artists, so it's there's a lot of oil work down here, and I just like it. And then I owned a construction company for a long time, and my company actually used oil, just in a much bigger scale, but still.
Did you ever use acrylic?
Yeah, we.
Are you asking Joe?
No, he's just talking to you. He's talking to you.
Me?
Yeah.
No, Joe.
No. Ciruelo, did you ever use acrylic paint?
Of course, yes. I used acrylic during a couple of decades at the beginning of my career, 80s and 90s, because it dries very fast.
Yeah.
And at that time, you had to handle the original to the publisher. So probably I work until an hour before delivering it So I needed to use acrylics for that reason. But as soon as I started using oils, because I needed to produce, well, I really liked to work with oils because of producing better quality originals. Um, so for me, oils is the queen of all techniques.
Right.
So yeah, I'm using mostly oils right now, but I'm using different techniques as well. I mean, of course, pencil all the time because I'm drawing, and at the same time, I'm producing drawings with pencils on, for instance, gray papers, and I put some touches of white watercolor, which makes it something between a sketch and a painting. The final result is very finished, very painterly, but at the same time, it's a sketch. I love to do that because it's quick. It looks spontaneous, loose. I love that.
And
And
you also do rocks. You got this thing I've never seen anybody else do that. You do rocks, which is amazing.
oh, thank you. Yeah, that's another branch of my art, which is painting directly on rocks, for which I study the shape, the natural shape, until I discover a three-dimensional figure on the rock that I can relate to something like a human body, a woman, or an animal. And just by painting on the rock, I achieve a three-dimensional figure. And I call that Petropictos, is a word that I made up in order to describe the technique. And the result is actually something between a sculpture and a painting, because it's only painted, but it looks like a sculpture. That's the idea. That's the trick behind that technique. And actually I am exhibiting Petropictos in my exhibitions wherever I can bring with me stones, which is difficult sometimes.
How
And
big are they?
oh, well, I have some which are this small,
Yeah.
and some of them are really big and heavy. And of course, I could paint something little or huge, because the effect is just to discover the natural shapes and painting them. So I could paint in something as large as a house, but I could move it.
Right.
And yeah, that's another branch of my art that I really love. And actually, my public, my audience, really likes that.
Is that unique to you?
Yes, but anyways, when I started doing that, it was in 1995. It was unique. Well, actually, if you are here, you have a stone at the right bottom, and if
Yeah.
you click there, we can see a few examples of my rugs.
Let's see.
Yeah,
Where was that?
yeah, Petropictos. And okay, I was telling you that when I started that, it was just something that I discovered by myself. I had no other um, source of inspiration on that technique. But later, I discovered that there were some different cultures. For instance, the Incas in Peru, that
What the
they,
hell?
oh, this I can't be reached. I don't know
It's
why.
not. Oh, it's not that. It's probably certain times of the day between us and Europe, the internet traffic can get heavy. It's
Oh,
yeah, and more than likely that's what it is. It's probably an interference. I'll try it again in a few minutes.
all right.
Let me move it
Okay.
out of our
Anyways,
view.
I was
Good,
telling
guy.
you that later I learned that there were certain cultures, different cultures in
Hmm.
Europe as well, for which watching their environment like that, like the way I do, which is trying to relate shapes that you see in nature, rocks or clouds, which we call the eidetic way of relating shapes. It was pretty common for different cultures. So I could say that it's not something that I made up. And also for the prehistoric artists, the ones that painted in caves, like for instance here in
pictogram.
Spain, they used also the shapes of the rock in which they were painting inside the caves. So it's not something that is only pertaining to me. I mean, I know that there are many people around the world who are doing the same, because actually this way of perceiving reality or perceiving our environment is pretty common for many artists.
I agree, but you're the first person who I ever saw. Your formula is you take a look at it and you just study it until an image comes out for you that you can actually do. That's different. It's one thing I'm painting. Here I am, a hunter, and I'm hunting a bear, and so I'm painting that on the wall. You actually look at the stone until you visualize an image there. Then you paint it on it. So to me that's a different form of creation, which I think is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm waiting for you. I'm going to challenge you, and I'll start saving my pennies now to find a rock that has the image of Emily on there, and then you can paint it, and then I'll give it to her as a.
Well, she's so beautiful that it could be hard, but anyways, I'm sure there is a rock over there that has to be discovered yet.
Somewhere, yes. Maybe it's right next to the rock of your wife. We'll see.
Of course.
Yes.
For sure. It will. And I will discover them.
Okay, good. Yes. So basically you're fine with continuing with your painting. Do you do a lot of book covers? I know you did the Aragon picture book at one point with on that. You didn't do a book cover, you did the picture book.
I did I did a book cover for Aragon, the 10th anniversary edition, which was published in the States, and I did also an illustration in the interior for that book particularly, and then I did a coloring book for Aragon, which was about 50 drawings for coloring, but each one of them had to be how can I say consulted or confirmed by Christopher Paolini himself, because it was the first time that his characters for his book were designed or drawn. So we were working on the design of each character, and he was kind of controlling that process.
Sure, makes sense.
We were working together, and the book was very successful, and it's something that I really love.
Yeah,
that kind of books. Yes.
Yeah. Do you still work for TSR?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I quit.
You don't get periodic commissions? Can you do another 5 cards or something like that?
No, actually, it was about 20 years ago already, or 25 years ago, that I stopped accepting commissions, actually, because I needed more time. I needed to work for my own ideas, because I was telling you before that I was writing my own stories, because I had the full story coming to my head, not only the illustration that I wanted to do or the painting that I wanted to do, but the whole story behind that come to my mind. So I wanted to do my own art to do my own publications. Actually, my wife Daniela and I founded our own publishing house back in '98, and we started publishing our own books, my own books, with text and illustrations, in order to be free of other requirements from other publishing houses or art directors or whatever. So that led me to quit working for most clients.
I get it.
I only accepted a few of them. Christopher Paolini was one of them, because I just love all his production with Aragon, and also because we became friends at the time, and so he wanted me to work with him. And also George Lucas, that commissioned me several times certain
Oh yeah, Joe,
projects.
you know this. When he was in LA, he went to go to the new George Lucas Museum that's being built, because you've got what, 3 paintings in there? 5?
Six
6 paintings.
Damn.
Yeah, well,
George,
actually,
that's like awesome.
yeah, that 6 are the paintings that he bought from me, paintings that I did for him, actually, in these different projects I was telling you about. I don't know how many of them are going to be exhibited on the walls of that Lucas Museum, which is going to open on September 22nd this year. I hope that at least 3 of them, which are very important because are his books for the Shadow Chronicles, which is a trilogy, which is the sequel for Willow, a movie of his from the '87.
I loved that movie too. That was such
me
a great
too.
movie.
Me
Yeah.
too. And so I hope that at least, yes, Willow, at least those 3 paintings, I hope that they will be in the museum. So anyways, I will be there in September again in Los Angeles. So I'll probably visit you again.
That'd be good. I'm going to put it on my calendar right now so that we can make
Yes.
sure that I book the restaurant.
Okay. Well, actually, I'll be there with Frazetta family, with Sarah, Joe, because they are going to be at the opening as well.
Yeah, because Salt Lake City Fan X is on the 23rd. So if yours is on the 22nd, because we go back, I mean, we can get together if you, depends when you arrive. The 21st is that Monday, 22nd is Tuesday. We can meet either those 2 days and come over, and just get together and have Emily, and I think Gunhild will want to see you, and Joni and Maliva, and we'll probably get half the staff. We'll just welcome Ciruelo.
Okay, yes, we'll do it. Thank you.
And if Joe's interested, on his way to Salt Lake City Fan X, he can come here to Los Angeles.
Think about it. Yeah. I might fly this year, I think.
Yeah.
Last time I drove up there, it's 7-8 days round trip. So.
But you enjoyed the ride with your wife and just stopped by El Single.
Well, I had my girls with me, my two little puppies, and they so I never take my own car when I go on trips, so I rented a damn car to go. Got a black, really beautiful, fine car, and then my dog's white. She decided to start shedding on the way. So it's a good thing I knew the people who ran the place, because the back of the car was white. By the time we got back from it was white. My dog had shedded so much the poor black car was white now. It was it. Oh God, I felt sorry for the guy who had to clean that car up. But anyway, it's a good trip. There's a lot to see, and I do want to go see Devil's Mountain this year while I'm there. I want to go see where E.T. landed and came to visit everybody. What is that? Close Encounters. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's the mountain for Close Encounters. But FanX is always fun. Utah's in general is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Have you ever been there, Ciruelo? Or has it just been DragonCon in Atlanta?
Salt Lake City? You mean Salt Lake? No, I wanted to, but I've never been to.
Well, if you're going to be here for the opening there in Los Angeles, it's like you can finish that and the next day go to Salt Lake City.
I know. I hope to. Well, actually, I'll be in Los Angeles 3 or 4 days before the opening,
Yeah.
and 3 days later. So I'll be back. I'll be traveling back to Barcelona on 25th. But I hope to visit the museum at least 3 days in a row,
Yeah.
because that's going to be something very special for me.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge already. It's almost finished, and but it's going to be a highlight in my career, having my paintings exhibited there, because George Lucas it's a pope for fantasy art. It's been a very important force for fantasy art for many generations. And I was visiting the ranch, the
Yeah.
Skywalker Ranch,
Yeah.
and uh, I had the opportunity to see several paintings from his personal collection, and those paintings were Maxfield Parrish, for
Yeah.
instance, who is a master, absolute master. And I saw at least three paintings of his in the library at the Skywalker Ranch, and I was amazed because of that. But at the same time, I thought it's a pity, it's a shame that these paintings are here where nobody can see them. I thought at that time that those paintings should be exhibited to the
Yeah.
general public. And a couple years later, George Lucas announced that all his collection was going to be available to the public in this particular building he was building. He started building that, I think it was in 2019 or 20. No, 2017 he started. And when he announced that, I was very happy, because actually his collection is, you can imagine, I think it's 15,000 pieces of
Wow.
art. So,
Well, if you need to
well,
hire a chauffeur, I'm a pretty good driver, and I got a black suit I can
good.
wear.
All right.
And Emily
I'll
can
take it
serve.
into account.
Emily can serve all types of horchatas or tea or whatever you like to drink there.
All right. I'll take it into account. No, I am sure it's going to be a special event for the whole community of artists. I mean, because actually the main idea behind that museum or his collection is that George Lucas states that for him, an artist, for instance, a comic artist or a fantasy artist, or a cartoonist, even a good cartoonist, has the same importance that a classical painter. For him, for him there is no differences between different types of art, and
Mhm.
fantasy art for him is very important. And also the concept artists that work for him or work for many other movies, those artists who really know how to design, how to draw, how to create, for him they are big artists, as well as Michelangelo could be, or Alma Tadema, or many other uh,
Or Ciruelo.
or Ciruelo, maybe, yes. And that's something that is not common to find around the art world, in which, for instance, sometimes fantasy art could be underrated in terms of, well, many times I was told, okay, but if you draw or paint dragons, that's not actual art, so we cannot exhibit your paintings in our museum or our gallery. That's pretty common here in Europe, for instance. I found that
Bill.
in
Wow.
yeah, I found that in America that it's something different because uh, art collectors in America they appreciate fantasy art as long as they appreciate other kind of art
Yeah.
at the same level, and that's the main purpose behind the Lucas Museum. Actually,
That's so cool.
yeah, it is.
So now, what was it like doing this painting and then finding out that Orson Scott Card was going to write a story based on your art? Normally, it's the other way around.
Here we go
Yeah,
with this
exactly.
fictitious person again. Okay.
Uh,
Not who's Scott people. They messing with y'all. They ain't no Scott people. I'm telling y'all, they just messing with y'all.
Well, actually, for me, it was first of all, it was an honor that somebody like Orson Scott Card, somebody who, with his trajectory, with his story, his name, his talent, he wrote a story based on one of my paintings, and that's thanks to you, to the way you organize things and the way you you promote art and literature. And for me, it was an incredible experience, something very unique
Yeah.
in my career, and I love it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we love too, just with Rise of Future is since its inception in 1983, we've had the best of the best as originally conceived by Ron Hubbard as the judges, all the original artists. And you know, some of the original artists that we had on board there with like Frank Kelly Freeze and
Yeah.
Frank Frazetta.
Wow,
And
master.
yeah, they were masters. And these were the ones that were the principal creators during the pulp era, and they were illustrators. They weren't classical painters. They were illustrators, and the importance of illustration to tie the thing together. So creating this Illustrators of Future contest and having the continuation with artists like yourself as judges maintains that level of integrity to the contest that you don't find anywhere else. There are no other contests like this. There's nothing else like this where someone is free to enter. It's judge blind, so everybody has the same chance. So we have entries from 180 countries now and winners from 52 countries. So, it's really, really good how we have that type of growth. And then by the support from yourself, from Scott Card, from Larry Elmore, Larry Niven, like Joe was trying to throw me under the bus there on that, but we all knew you were talking about Larry Elmore.
I think you somewhat the other Larry, but okay.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I know we've got Scott's coming in any moment, right?
Sending the invite, yeah. So he should be coming in
Okay.
pretty soon.
Did you send it to both to Christine and to Larry? I mean, to
I just
Scott?
sent it to whatever email who sent to me. Let me go look. I can tell you right quick there.
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to Christine as well.
What's that Carmen guy?
Yeah, I'm gonna send it to his. So I just sent it to Christine as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, one thing too, he's got both of his kids. Now, Ciruelo's got his both of his kids. His daughter's she's like a dancer, right?
She's a dancer, professional dancer. She's living in Germany. She's been living there for 3 years, working for a company, German company. Yes, she's
So
pretty good.
she doing movies or this professional dance on tour or what?
On tour, basically. She's with a company. They are acting in different theaters all over Europe, actually. And well, she's also doing videos, video dances. So producing, dances for videos. Actually, she did quite a few with Angelo, my son, who is a film director. He's a videographer, we could say. So they are collaborating together in different videos.
He's also in
And
Germany.
no. Angelo still lives here with us because He has a huge studio right over my studio, and he's working here because he's doing photography as well. He's a photographer, professional, and so yes, both my kids are artists.
Mm-hmm.
Liz, my daughter, she's also a painter. She's an illustrator. She sings. We all, the whole family, we do music as well. I play guitar, bass. Angelo plays bass. And Liz plays some drums and sings. Well, like art all over
Wow.
the family. Yeah, we love
That's
to
a
do
cool
art
thing,
together.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and mainly because we love. Well, for me, the most important thing in my life is my family.
Right.
And for my wife as well, we are very united as a family. And so when they were born and we were traveling with my wife to different conventions, since they were babies, they were joining us to the conventions all over the world. And we went to, for instance, San Diego Comic Con. I went there 15 years in a row, and many years my kids came with me. So, and yeah, you were describing my family before, very united, and that's what I would call my best or my major masterpiece in my
Yeah, it's
life
the
is
best creation. Yes.
my best creation is my family. And I was telling you that taking my kids with me and having them being surrounded by other artists was the best gift I could give them, because for me the artist community is rich in their concepts. And my kids were grown, they were raised in that kind of environments, and I love that. And
Yeah.
they actually took a lot of art and inspiration from all those communities they were surrounded by, including you,
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
of course.
And that's
Yeah.
one thing. It's also why it's really key with the contest to keep it going, because part of the contest that inspires it is one of the things that, again, Hubbard, as the creator of it, the artist injects the spirit of life into a culture. And I see that with what you
Yes.
do, but it's just by validating that. And when you look at the art in the Writers of the Future book, it's not like one type of art. It's all over the place, because you've got art from South Africa is different than China, is different than Japan, is different than Korea, is different than UK. It's just
Sure.
all over the world, art is different. But it's the creativity that we like to validate. So we've had winners from all over. And
Yeah.
like Echo says, some of the stuff she doesn't personally like a whole lot, but she definitely recognizes the value of that art. And here we go. We've got Kilroy was here.
Scott.
There we go.
Scott, can you hear us okay, bro?
Well, it's hard to get my head centered in this. Maybe I need to have a
You
higher.
look good. No, you
We're
look
We're
good.
good now.
Right now, with my posture good, I'm fine. But my normal
Yeah, well,
is
don't
this.
feel bad. We're all bad about that. You see, that's why I got this kind of chair. It makes me sit right. It's
It's the top half of my head that matters anyway. So
yeah, so that's it. You can get down as low as if you want. We always stretch the pictures out later. We've learned how to do them things. This was the guy, the invisible guy, Scott, I was telling y'all didn't exist earlier, remember?
Yeah, we got Ciruelo, the artist, and we got Orson Scott Card, the typist. There we go.
Okay.
Typist.
that's how I make my living. Don't make fun of me.
Oh, man. Jesus. Oh. Anyway, welcome to the show, Scott. How you been, man? Everybody's
doing
treating you
great.
good?
Yes.
I don't need to slap nobody. Come on, you told me I got to slap somebody. When that's going to happen, man? I'm ready. I'm ready. I've been hostile down here in the deep south. It's starting to get hot now. I need some exercise. Glenn Scott is actually a very famous author. You can look him up. It's Orson Scott Card is what his actual name is. And You
He wrote this little book called Ender's Game.
Yeah, I think you can find him.
I'm actually having some trouble understanding you, Joe. And it's just that you talk like you talk. And my old ears are having trouble. Words get run together. So
I'll
if you
slow
could
down.
slow down just the tiniest
Yeah.
bit, it would make all the difference for my being able to understand what you're saying.
Not a
That's
problem, boss.
one syllable in everything you say, and that makes it so that I can't understand a thing.
Yeah.
I'll slow down some.
Yeah. So now you effectively shut Joe up for the next hour.
Podemos hablar en español, no tenemos problema.
No, we're good. We're good.
Then we were talking earlier with Ciruelo about what it was like to create a painting and then have you write a story against it. And just on the other side of it, just Ciruelo's painting is just awesome. I mean, his dragon art is just brilliant. I mean, he's just one of my favorite artists. So for yourself, just like that's probably, I don't know how often you've actually had a piece of art that you've had to write a story against, because normally it's the other way around.
Never. This was the first time ever. And in a way, I was kind of thrilled because as a general rule, when covers are assigned or when there's art assigned by an art director or an editor, they inform the artist what elements need to be present, but the artist does not actually read my text and doesn't read the surrounding material. And that's not their fault. They got the assignment and that's the material they were given. But so many times it's just wrong. But I've learned not to complain. I remember that I hated the original cover of Ender's Game, still the one they're using mostly now. And I talked to my editor and I said, look, I write stories about people and the spaceships hardly even matter in this story. And you've depicted spaceships that are nothing like what I have in my book. And they said, well, we got this art from the cover of a game, a role-playing game in England. So it was not made for my story at all. And they said, but don't worry, the cover is not an illustration. The cover is the billboard we use to sell the book. And I thought, okay, but the book you're selling is not the book I wrote. They said, yes, it is. And here's why. And this was their explanation. This was in 1985. And in that was an era when science fiction had faded into a kind of an arty thing for a while, which is not a bad thing. I mean, Harlan Ellison was certainly one of the foremost of that wave, and he wrote wonderful stories that I loved. But what I was told was, this cover says, here is a sci-fi adventure novel. And I said, well, it's sort of that, I guess. And they said, well, it is sort of that. It's a lot more than that. But this will get readers who are hungry for science fiction into this book. They'll pick it up. They'll look at it. And then they'll read it. And clearly, they were not wrong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when I've been in charge of the cover of a book, usually somebody else's, but with the cover of Saints, for example, when we brought out our hardcover edition, we got an artist from England who had done wonderful work on the English edition of the Alvin Maker books. And I got an illustration that was also very evocative. I think that it was wonderful. And so every now and then I have the chance to do that. But here's a case where only if the writer was an idiot would they not go together. And here's my problem. Ciruelo's art was wonderful.
Thank you.
And I did not write a good story for that art. I wrote a story that was adequate, that explained most of the elements, but Ciruelo's painting is gorgeous and contains a story in itself. And I look at my story and I think, well, I'm proud of the story. It's not a bad story. It's a story that I would write. But it doesn't do justice to Ciruelo's art. And so I realized maybe that's how artists feel when they do an illustration or a cover for one of my books. And it's not really true to the story. And I think I was not really true to the art in the way that I should have been. I should have started with more of a blank slate. Instead, I brought to it whatever baggage was in my head at the time, and I kind of force-fit it, but Ciruelo deserves better. And I would hope that if I ever have a chance to write to his illustrations, to his art again, I will do a better job.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Actually, I have to apologize because I didn't have the chance to read the story. Actually, I just was peering through it a bit because I've been traveling too much during these past months. But I'm sure you did a great job in the story. But anyways,
I'm
I
not ashamed
think-
of the story. I just wish I'd done better by your art.
we can do that in the future again. No problem.
That sounds good to me.
And I can do actually an illustration proper to your story in that case.
Oh, you'll see. You gave us an illustration that is brilliant. It's wonderful, and you won't read the story and go, "Oh wow, I should have done a better illustration." You'll think, "Oh wow, he sure did not do what he could have done with this art." So, but anyway, I shouldn't be apologizing. I should say what is true, which is that I am proud to have a story of mine associated with artwork of yours.
Oh,
And so I'm grateful
Thank
that I
you.
had the chance to do that.
Me too, actually. I feel honored. As I said before, hi, Emily.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, look at these.
Well, that's a
amazing people.
twofer. Well,
Yeah.
Did I make Joe leave? I really
No, Scott, I'm still here. I was just doing
all I
something.
see is this group picture that I'm not in.
Yeah, why aren't you in that picture, by the way? Yes, we're gonna have to
It's
talk
too
about
small
that next
for me
year.
to see. Are you in it, Joe?
Yes, I'm in the middle, and that's John.
Okay, you're the
and
middle
Emily
down front.
behind me.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's John and Emily behind me, and then the astronaut lady on the other side, and her husband, and
Andrea.
the strange woman sitting next to me on the other side. I can't remember her name.
Well,
She's
you
very strange.
apparently got everybody who was important at that event.
No, I was at the lucky table, is what I was. I was just at the right place at the right time. This is how it worked out. It's speaking of that, why is it still on? Yeah, there it goes.
Hi, Joe.
Who are you?
Hey.
It's been so long since I've seen you. I think I forgot what you look like, man. God.
Well, I don't exactly have my hair and makeup all done
No,
up
you
today, but I came to make a quick cameo
don't.
appearance and say
But
hello.
you are beautiful even
She
without.
knows
hair and
that.
makeup
She
on.
knows.
So
She knows.
all the work you put into hair and makeup, I'm sure that you're pleased with the result, but you have a face that does not need.
That's right.
Sure.
I tried to tell her that, but maybe she'll listen to you. She doesn't listen to me.
She won't listen to me either. No woman ever has.
Oh, well, I should let you four boys back to your no good that you were probably up to before I showed up. And very good to see all of you.
It's good to see you.
Okay,
Behave, youngin.
show.
Youngin.
It's nice that she did not come to heckle.
No,
She came to contribute.
she
That was
came to
good.
praise. She came to praise Scott and Ciruelo, not to bury them.
That's right. See, if y'all wasn't here, I would be getting heckled. So I'm just lucky y'all were here. That's
I imagine that you don't have a heckler problem. You don't look like a guy that a heckler would like to heckle.
Oh no,
You
I
look
can
like
be a
a
really
guy
good
that it
one.
might not be safe to heckle.
No, it's not. And I've been known when I'm doing lectures because I do a lot of college lectures sometimes, and I've been known to. Oh, you want to go there? Okay, you want to be rude? I'll show you what rude is. Let me explain to you why I've been in the radio for 35 years. I'll give you a quick education on why I'm the one on the stage and you're the one sitting in the audience.
Yeah. Well, I learned some things. I did some talk radio. Rusty Humphreys got me into subbing for him, and then I had my own show at like 4 a.m. It was a time when only truckers in Hawaii were listening. And so it was.
They're good listeners, though.
I did not get much of an audience in terms of numbers, but it was a wonderful experience. But I learned from Rusty. He said, here's what the call screeners do. They'll give you two softball people who there to say, right on, you did a good job. That's right, I agree with you. And then they'll give you one who is an obvious idiot, who is opposing you, but they'll choose somebody who's dumb. And they'll start talking, and then my job is to interrupt them, say something snide and funny, and then they cut them off and we move on. And I thought, you know what? I did not realize that was a formula, but that's what I hear all the time. In
a lot of times it is.
Those that have screeners.
Yeah, we did away with screeners about 10 years ago, but
oh really?
And let me tell you what, for the most part, it's been successful. Every now and then, I had two hosts one night on a paranormal show. So these two girls are doing this paranormal show. Guy calls in, we let him in the system. He's talking, and they're going back and forth for about a half an hour, and I'm listening, going, this conversation sounding just a little off. And about every 15th or 16th word, he would just say something stupid. Well, about 35 or 40 minutes in, he just lost his mind. I mean, he lost it. First off, he just started saying all kind of crazy stuff. Then he started cursing, which didn't matter because we weren't on FM back then. But still, I mean, he just lost it. And of course, we muted him, but he was playing the game for the long haul. He wanted to see how long he could get in and how long it would take us to kick him out. Because he would say stuff like, she'd say, oh, well, you know, the ghost did this. He said, oh, really? I don't think ghosts are real. Well, right there, that should have been enough for them to want to drop the call, but no, they wanted to keep going. So, and I leave it up to the host for the most part, unless like the guy who came on and said he was having sex with dolphins, he got immediately kicked off. But other than that,
you're merging words together there.
Oh, am I? Sorry.
I just didn't understand that last sentence at all.
Yes, and you probably didn't need to understand that last sentence.
Okay, well, now it's worse. I'll tell you, when you're close to the mic, it gets fuzzier. So what you were doing
you know
fine.
what?
No, I don't mean to be critical. It's just that I have old ears.
Well, no, and this mic is old too. So I usually use the snowball mics. It's this one's just usually up for show these days, but it's on tonight. But no, we're not real strict on callers. I mean, we'll let you get away with a lot, but there are certain places where we do draw a line. They're like, nope, that's enough of that. And but you get the crazies. I mean, there's always going to be some crazy, like the girl who pulled Howard Stern on my show, my 6th show I ever did. She called in and ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who Howard Stern is, you need to look him up. And there's a particular
I remember who he was.
Yeah, well, who he was. That's a good.
Nothing to do with who he was.
No, who he is now is an idiot. But he used to have these girls that would call in and get on the speakers while he was talking. My very 5th show I ever did, some girl did that live to about 800,000 people. I was like, I'm just talking away like an idiot. I didn't have any clue. And my producer goes, Joe, she sounds like she's making funny noises. I said, well, then maybe you should drop the call, because I was just a host. I didn't have any controls or anything. And he let it go for a little while. We'll just say it got steamy and leave it at that. It was insane is what it was.
So somebody was orally sexting you.
Sitting on a speaker. They were sitting on a speaker they were using the speaker and the tone of my voice. And when I do radio like that, I use a monotone voice. It's just a kind of straight, no pitches, no moves up and down. It's just a little deeper than what I'm talking right now, but it's just a little monotone voice. And for certain radio shows, I use that. Certain lectures, I use it. It's my guy who taught it to me said it's because it's hypnotic. When you use it, people tend to just zone out or zone in, but they don't tend to get in the way of the conversation. So it actually works quite well. I was surprised.
Now, all three of you guys are teachers. Like you start talking a little bit about teaching at being guest lecturer at classes. And I know, Ciruelo, you teach as well, right? You get around and lecture. And then I know, Scott, you just recently retired as a teacher at a university.
Yeah. Yeah, and I miss it. I miss teaching. I don't know if I was good at teaching, but I do know that I liked doing it. I liked it a lot better than writing. The trouble is they don't pay teachers the way they pay writers. Well, truthfully, they don't pay writers the way they pay writers. You know, I certainly don't get paid like Patterson or Crichton used to. And I don't, I'm not in this for the money, except in the sense that no one will pay me to do anything else. And so I have to make a living, and this is the only thing I can do that pays. but I love teaching. Teaching was done for the joy of it. But when I taught at Southern Virginia, I was not even an adjunct professor. I was on the faculty. I was even given the title of full professor, but never made a dime, never was paid. I have this pathetic beard and mustache, and at Southern Virginia at the time, they were trying to follow Brigham Young University's standards for faculty, which meant no facial hair. And somebody complained to the administration and said, how come I can't grow a mustache? How come I can't grow a beard? And the guy from the administration replied, if you're willing to work for the salary that Scott Card gets, then you can wear facial hair too. And then he found out that I was paid nothing, and he agreed. he could shave, and that would be fine.
That would be fine. Show me the money.
And then Ciruelo, you teach as well, right? You
Well, actually,
guest lecture.
Yeah, well, I do lectures in all my exhibitions. For instance, when I do an exhibition, I usually give speeches or lectures, and in certain conventions, especially in Argentina or in Spain, in Italy as well, I never charged anything for lectures or conferences or whatever, and I love to do that. And that's all. I mean, I didn't have the opportunity to. Well, I gave lectures in art schools as well as where I was invited to, but
Yeah.
I've never charged for that.
So you're
And
so
I
much
like it.
nicer than
I
I
love
am.
it.
No, that's cool. Well, that you make your living from that, so nobody should complain for paying you to talk, because that's what you do. That's what you're known for. Now, if you were also an on-point ballet dancer, and that's how you really made your money, then perhaps you could get away with doing the talking for free.
That's funny too.
That's the picture I wanted to visualize.
That one I had to quickly get off of that picture really fast because I was ready to run out of the room.
I know it's not. You scared my own self here with that.
You scared me with that one. But with Scott, I mean with Joe, because he goes and he gets lectures on politics. He does that a lot, and then he also does stuff on ufology. But invariably, because his website has so much stuff with Writers of the Future on, it gets pulled into what's your relationship with Writers of the Future, and then he just goes off, and people are totally interested in the contest with the same type of questions that he challenged me with when he first started interviewing me, which couldn't believe anything could be like Writers and Illustrators of the Future. Nothing like what's under the cover, like what am I not seeing? What's behind the curtain? And nothing could be that altruistic, as what the contest is.
When I tell that story at colleges or any lecture for that matter, people are like, really? I said, yeah. I said, matter of fact, just recently I said this. I said, I'm still apologizing to her. She's like, what? I said, y'all don't know, man. I said, I said, I can't get behind something unless I know 100% that it's legit. And I said, and finally I went out and found out for myself. I said, now I've been out there 7 years. I said, it's exactly, and it makes it easy for me to pitch y'all because first off, I know what I'm talking about because I've been there enough time to know what's going on. And secondly, I'm not affiliated with y'all other than I'm press. So somebody asked me the other day, he said, well, how do you know him? I said, other than John and I are friends. I said, I don't. I said, I'm press. He said, you don't work for him? I said, no, I'm press. I said, that's what I am. I said, I'm simply there to harass the judges and the winners. Oh, and particularly the staff. I said, that's my job. But it's always great fun. But when people ask me, they're always saying, oh, there's got to be some. I said, well, I said that same thing. I said, I thought there was some BS going on, blind judging. I said, what the hell is blind judging? I said, I was asking, well, how much money does this cost you to go? I said, and he said, oh, I'll fly you from Europe. I was like, get the hell out of here, man. Nobody flies you from Europe. But anyway.
Yeah, I know a company that does.
Yeah.
But people wonder how much I'm paid for my contributions. And my experience has been that from time to time, I'm asked to do something for which I get paid. And I get paid at a fair rate, not quit my day job rates, but certainly fairly. But most of the time, I don't even want to get paid when I'm judging. I don't know. Do you guys pay me anything for that? I can't remember. I don't
think
actually
you get-
handle
I
the
think
money
you
in
get
my
like-
house, so I don't know.
You get like
Sorry,
50,
man.
$100 or something like that. It's an it's something to
Yeah, it's more like taking me out to dinner,
Yeah.
basically, and that's not bad. I'm an expensive eater. I don't get wine, so the bill is not as high as it could be. But anyway, it's my experience has been that, and do I dare say this? Yes, I would do this for free, of course, because this contest is real. I mean, that's the thing that I see so many come-ons for contests where you have to pay to enter, and the prize money is some portion of what you paid. And so there's no prize money. There's nothing behind it. They'll award you the prize, and your prize is getting your money back. Maybe a little extra, other people's money. But it's never what this is. I mean, Writers of the Future, I don't know if you guys make any kind of profit on this at all. I don't care, because I don't think you care. I think what you care about is the vision of L. Ron Hubbard to be helping new writers. This contest does it because everybody in the business knows that if you can put on a cover letter that you were a finalist, that you got an honorable mention in a quarterly contest from Writers of the Future, that your submission will rise to the top. And more important, the editor will read it with hope.
Yep, it's true.
Because, I've read the equivalent of Slush. I have read thousands and thousands of stories. And I know what raw stories by unskilled, sometimes untalented, usually talented, but not yet professional quality writing looks like. And it is mind-numbing. And if you read,
You're so nice.
if you read a lot of that, your mind really does get numb. It's easy to then read something that's actually good and not recognize it because you've stopped using that part of your brain that sees quality. That part got tired. It got sick. It's taking a nap because it's just hard to do. But whoever your first readers are, and I believe that it was Dave Farland, Dave Overton, and AJ during his time.
Yeah.
I believe they read first. Maybe not. Maybe they had screeners, but whoever does that first reading, by the time it gets to me as one of the final judges, they're already winners. Every one of them is a winner. And even if I don't care for one, it's not because it was bad. It's just because I have my own personal tastes, and those show up when I'm judging. So if somebody writes a present tense, first person narrative, I'm not going to vote for it to win because I find it hard to slug my way through something written in such an unnatural, non-native English way. But having said that, I still read it, and I still find the story in it that I care about and believe in, and that the writer cared about and believed in. I give it as fair a reading as I can. I'm just saying, folks, Orson Scott Card says, if you want to write English narrative, in English, we tell the truth in past tense. And you see it all the time. Everybody does this. So I'm driving along, see, and my car starts to skid. And then somebody in the audience goes, oh, come on. And you go, yes, that's what happened. You go to past tense immediately when you're stressing that it's true. You don't continue we don't use present tense. You phone somebody. Well, what are you doing right now? I shop in the grocery store. No, you say, I'm shopping right now. We use present progressive for our present tense. And if you have ever tried writing a story in present progressive, you get sick of it yourself after just a few paragraphs. You just go, what am I doing? You can't stand it because we don't narrate that way. We just don't do it. English uses past tense for narrative. Write in English. This is a contest that's conducted in English. There it is. My sermon is over.
At least that sermon's over.
Well,
Wait,
that's my only sermon. The rest of the time I'm not preaching. I'm just hoping.
okay. Now, Ciruelo's written a couple books, and he's in the middle of more books right now too. So, in addition to being an amazing artist, he's also an author of is it fantasy fiction or is it? I know that's fine. Don't diminish what you've
So
done.
it's fantasy fiction that's 3 lines long?
No, it's poor quality, I would say. No, because actually I'm writing fantasy. It's always fantasy. Anyways, my fantasy tends to be not, for instance, only related to medieval eras, but a temporal, out of the time. That's what I like the most when I say fantasy. It's not the present days. I mean, it's not science fiction. It's always in the past times. But anyways, it's fantasy. And what I like to write is related what I like to draw. It has to do more with kind of the way that the human beings understand art, the conscience, the way of perceiving reality. I like to go into those kind of things, subjects somehow. And well, for that reason, I like to write. And I'm always publishing in Spanish first. Then some of my books are translated into English for a small market in the States, for instance.
Oh.
And I'm trying to, well, this year, next year, I'm going to try to write a personal book in terms of talking about certain experiences, something more biographical, probably. I'm going to intend working on that next year, because there are a few things that I want to talk about, and probably I will do that.
Well, now I'm going to look for your fiction. I never knew that you had anything. Now, when you publish fiction that you've written, do you use only the name Ciruelo, or do you use your last name as well?
You mean
what name?
When I sign my book, I mean Ciruelo.
No, when you publish it, is it published as just Ciruelo Cabral or just Ciruelo as the author?
Ciruelo, basically.
Okay, so that's the name that I use to look it up.
Oh, yeah,
because I will find those English translations. I was going to ask you if you wrote only in Spanish or if there was an English versions available, and I'm glad to know that there are.
Yeah, actually, yes, there are. Well, the Book of the Dragon, which is very well known and very well distributed in the States, half of it is written by myself. It's a very old book that was first published in 1990 here in Spain. It was written by an author, but she was not exactly a writer. She was more an investigator of certain legends, and she pulled a few legends together. So we made the Book of the Dragon, and then during many different publishings, editions that were done in the States, I acquired the rights of her copyrights, and I wrote the whole text. And I worked many years with different translators, English writers. So half of that book, which is, well, it was published by Barnes and Noble, so it's still found in their bookshops. And also Fairies and Dragons is also kind of distributed in the States. So those two books are easily found, we could say.
Ah, cool.
Is it going to behave now? That's the question. We was having internet issues to the other side of the world a little while ago, so let's see. Where did I do
Your
that?
work is so wonderful. It's always so alive. I just love looking at what you do.
Let's see. Well, let me go this way. Let's find out. Well, I was looking at the dragons he had, that black and white one that he's got on the cover, which are fabulous. I guess the internet's just going to run slow all day.
Well, if we sit here watching and don't talk, then we're
No,
failing.
we're going to get in trouble from the boss. She'll call down and say, "Excuse me, what are you idiots doing?"
Have you ever heard of the concept of dead air?
Yes,
And,
I have a Canadian boss, and she is mean, man.
Oh, that doesn't even sound possible. I've never met a mean Canadian. Are there any?
Oh yes, there's several, and she's one of them.
Okay.
So just to put this in perspective, she's the kind of person like Vlad the Impaler, the where he used to kill people, and she liked to sleep in his bed. She owns his chainmail. She's a freak, man. What can I tell you? She's very famous, so she's been on a lot of television shows, and she's a really fabulous host. But she's she took over running the station for me 4 or 5 years ago. She does a great job. Makes my life way easier. I'm more of a pain in the you-know-what to her than she is to me. Because there's always something
as long
going
as you can live through the pain and stay working together, and things work well. Ciruelo, I wanted to what was it that I was going to ask? It was a good question. Oh, you mentioned that you lecture in Italy. Do you speak Italian, or do you speak in Spanish and they understand you well enough?
Uh-oh, what happened?
Now you're silent.
Uh-oh, why we lose this audio? No. Every time we open that website, for some reason, I think it interferes with his. Let's find out.
That's a shame.
Well, last time I had to drop him out, let him come back in. So I'm going to do that again real quick. I'm just going to kick him out real quick. Celia, I hope you can hear me. I'm going to kick you out. Just pop back in. Boop, boop. Yeah, a little popping sound went away. It's some reason, I guess, because they're both out of Spain. When I opened up the secondary link to show his dragons, it cut his audio.
Oh, that is
it's just something weird. There's just something. Well, like I was telling him earlier, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock over there. It's 10 in England right now. It's prime time for a lot of people going back and forth on the internet. So it's just taking up space. Can we hear you?
Oh,
Yeah,
can you hear me now?
Yeah, for some reason, when I opened the link, it cut your audio off. I guess because it's all in Spain. It was weird, but anyway, you're back. So that's good. That's all.
Good.
Well, one of these days, I'm gonna have you on just to go over your art if we can ever get it to behave itself.
Okay, I was answering your question, Scott. That yes, in Italy, I speak Italian because I love the language, and I had the chance to learn Italian because my wife is Italian, actually.
Oh, so is mine.
Well, she was born in Argentina, but her parents are Italian, who emigrated to Argentina after, 70 years ago, after the war. And she always had the Italian nationality, citizenship. And then when we got married 40 years ago, I got the Italian citizenship. Then we moved here from Argentina. We moved here to Spain, but actually we spent a lot of time in Italy with her family, relatives from her grandparents and etc. So there is a huge family.
Well, that sounds like you had a real chance to get to speak Italian like a native. That you aren't just. This is not just something you learned at school.
No, it was something that I really made the effort to learn it 40 years ago when we spent a lot of time in Italy. I used to speak very well in the 80s and 90s. Then I lost a bit of the. But anyways, I'm going to Italy twice a year at least, for conventions, and I love
beautiful country.
Yes, that's actually it's a museum to the open air. Actually, everything
it is
in Italy.
I made a horrible mistake when I was visiting. We were living in the south of France one summer, and we drove into Italy, So I was trying to drive in Rome. What an idiotic thing for me to do. Because in Rome, they only put up signs where you can see them after you've missed the turn. That's what I learned, is that if you really need to make a turn, you'll only see the sign for that street when you can't possibly make the turn. And parking in Rome, I think people pick up their cars and set them in instead of driving into their parking places, because I don't know how anybody ever gets out of a parking place. They are bumper to bumper. And so I realized why the Vespa is important in Rome.
That's important. Very important. Yeah, you are right. Yes.
Yes. My wife cusses me in Italian sometimes in German.
So you should be fluent in Italian cussing.
No, and I'm a third Italian myself, and I speak a zero Italian. I didn't want to know what my aunts and uncles were speaking. Plus, I had to learn Cajun French, which is, well, it's not French.
I have to say how puzzled I am as a genealogist to figure out how in the world your combination of ancestors could leave you 1/3 Italian.
It's not quite.
It's just like that family tree.
It's 27.3% according to Ancestry. But I'm actually the majority of me is Irish, Scottish, Welsh, or Viking. That's the majority of my DNA, 44%. And
so either you're descended from people who conquered the world or people who just raided the world. Either way,
a little bit of both, probably.
That works. That works.
It's a weird thing, but it explains where I got them green eyes from. So I was like, okay.
What did you say about your eyes?
Oh, I got green eyes. I was always wondering where they came from.
I have sat next to you. I've sat across from you, and I guess I just don't notice. See, that's why I could.
A lot of people like that, though.
I never see eye color, ever. People say, well, he's the guy with blue eyes, or he's the guy with green eyes. I'll go, how would I know that? Why would I look so closely as to know the color of his eyes? But other people see it all the time.
Like Ciruelo, I'm sure he looks and he sees what's there as an artist.
Well, actually, I'm colorblind, so for me it's very difficult. I'm colorblind.
Yeah, that makes life. Oh my God, that makes
that.
Well, wait, how are you colorblind?
Against using PMS codes, or is that what you do?
PMS? What's that?
Isn't that the PMS
numbers, the publishing?
No, the PMS.
It's a kind of a standard measurement of
Pantone matching system. PMS stands for Pantone matching system. We had a grand prize winner. We had a grand prize winner a few years ago who was colorblind, and he memorized all the PMS color codes. So each one has a number. So he'd paint doing that. He was an amazing artist. He was in Phoenix, and he said, I can't see colors. So he could see shades, but he couldn't see color. And so
to him, all of his paintings were in black and white.
Yeah, or the various shades. So with PMS, because he memorized them, he had them so well, he knew how they relation with, and just from drilling, he was able to do that. He was an amazing artist. He was a grand prize winner one year.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, in my case, it's not like that. I mean, I would say that every colorblind is different.
It is. It definitely is.
In my case, well, it's very difficult to explain, especially in English for me. But anyways, I have big problems with most colors, and I would say
it's not just red green. It's all the colors,
all of them.
Yeah, because I've got a couple of friends that are colorblind, or maybe colorblind's not the right word. Like Mike, blues and greens to him are the same color. He just doesn't see them differently. One of my daughter's friends. The only two colors she can see is brown and yellow. It's the only two that actually come out to her.
And those everything are both yellow.
And everything else is a shade of gray, basically, or a shade of black is what she actually says. But it's different for everybody I know. Nobody I know has the same. And I think there's about 5 people we know. None of them have the same thing. It's just different. It seems to be different for everybody.
It's one of those strange things about language, is that we think we know what colors are, but I don't know if what I see when I see green is what you see when you see green. I have no idea what you're actually seeing. And so in a way, we're taking it on faith. My wife and I have a joke about gray and green, is that she once sent me into the house to get the green bag, and I could not find a green bag anywhere. And I said, "What are you talking about? What bag?" She comes out with the bag, and it's a gray bag. And she says, "This one." I said, "That's not green, that's gray." And I'm not colorblind. I could tell when you set it next to a really gray bag or a white something, then I could say, okay, I can see there's some green in that. But I would never have described it as green. But we just use the language however we use it.
You know, I was
I
thinking
was
for
surprised to see you, Scott, coming in a pink shirt, but I guess that you like wearing that.
Yes, this is my favorite shade of pink. We dressed my son in this all the time.
So Ciruelo, so on this cover, because this is obviously very muted with all the browns and tans and stuff like that, these colors. So but you got the yellows in the fire. So you do the yellow and the red in the fire because you know that's the color of fire, or do you see that as yellow and red?
Well, I would say, first of all, I have the theory. I know that fire could be yellow sometimes.
yeah.
Sometimes could be different, could be a kind of blue if it
there could be
is
blue,
from
yeah.
gas or whatever. I know certain things by theory, but when I put it, for instance, sometimes I apply yellow, but for some reason, like in that case, mixed with the gray could form some kind of green somewhere. And I have to call my wife and ask her, there is green somewhere in this yellow, because this should be yellow, or even a kind of orange because it's fire. And she says, oh yes, here you have some degree of green. And then I have to work on it without seeing it. Okay, my wife has been always my eyes for colors, and I'm always checking with her my colors. Actually, I have some kind of theory, but in the end, I don't know exactly what I am painting because I have no I'm not sure about what I'm using. I can see some colors. I can see especially I can see the warm ones confronted with the colder colors, and I can compose my palettes using that kind of combinations. I can see that.
So basically what you're saying is, see, I always knew you were brilliantly skilled. You have such amazing talent. But now I understand that you actually are eligible for sainthood because your paintings are all miracles. That is just, you're painting by faith. That is just
yes.
amazing.
Yes. You know what? I don't know exactly how it works. I've been all my life trying to explain that, but I don't know how it works in the end. I will tell you one example, for instance. Sometimes the whole family we are watching a movie, and at certain point I say, well, actually I'm mixing it up because I don't know when they are doing a flashback or the present. And they say, Dad, the flashback is when the movie turns into black and white. And I say, oh my God, I never noticed that sometimes the movie switched to black and white. And that's because actually I realized that I'm always watching everything in black and white. But when I change my way of watching things with the color way of perceiving, I can see colors. Otherwise, I put attention, all my attention is not in colors, but in shapes, in creativity, in styles, in something totally different. For that reason, I know that attention has a big role to play within perception of colors or shapes. And my perception is more in shapes and in design than in colors. So I could say that I see everything mainly in black and white, but to see in color, I have to change, to switch to color way of perceiving things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I do. And I am just, in my mind, from now on, you are San Ciruelo. You are, and I am, because I have never looked at your work and thought, there's something off about the colors. Never. That always, if your wife is your eyes for color, she does a good job for you. And you do a good job of interpreting what she tells you, because your color work is not lacking in any way.
No.
So this is just this would be like finding out that somebody was writing stories in English, but they don't actually speak English. You know, what? And it's miraculous.
Well, it's like also Mozart composing his last,
exactly,
his ninth symphony, that he was deaf.
Yeah,
so
I knew that Beethoven was deaf. But,
I'm sorry, Beethoven. I said the wrong name.
Beethoven,
Yeah.
no Mozart.
Yeah.
But he could remember sound. He could remember hearing it.
Yeah.
And his deafness was, I understand, tintinnabulation, that he was hearing a sound that drowned out everything else. So still hearing that he, but just not being able to make sense of it. But so he was miraculous enough, but at least he remembered sound. But you don't remember color, Ciruelo.
No, I don't think so. And I'll take what you are saying. Actually, my paintings are a miracle, because actually, I don't know if it's a good miracle or bad one, because I have no
It's
way
a good one.
to
It's a
judge
good one,
it.
yeah.
Thank you. But anyways, I for instance, I remember 2 years ago, I met a colleague of mine, Italian, very good artist, very good fantasy artist, painter. And after seeing, because I was at his studio in Florence, after seeing 20 of his paintings hanging on the wall, I asked him, "Are you colorblind?" Because I was seeing some kind of palette of colors that it was kind of strange to me. And he says, no, I'm not. And I said, "Are you sure?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm sure." And I said, "Did you ever do the color test?" And he says, "No, let's do one, because you can do that online right now." And we did it, and he was colorblind, and he never knew. And he was very struck by that. Actually, it was his wife, my wife, there was a bunch of people. And when we were doing the text on screen, everybody was watching the same images, and the only ones who made mistakes were he and me. And he didn't know.
The two world-class artists.
Yeah,
that is just amazing.
That was strange. And actually, and I realized that he was colorblind because of studying his palette. I mean, he was using more shades of light and shadow instead of using colors properly. So actually, that's something that I have. I have a good control on the shades. Very good. For that reason, when I was a little kid, with a simple pencil, black pencil on a white paper, I was very good, because I could achieve a three-dimensional effect very easily, because I was very good at black and white. Because I usually, I understood reality in a 3D term. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I realized that my colleague was doing the same. He was working on his painting basically using that kind of perception. And he didn't know. He never realized that he was colorblind until that moment.
If you've never seen the colors, then you don't know that you're not seeing them.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Exactly.
so somewhere along the way, you learned that what you were seeing is not what other people saw. Were you still a child when you found that out?
I was 12 or 13 years old. Before that, I knew that I had problems, but there was not enough, how can I say that, information around me that uh, uh, put me in the understanding that I had a problem with colors. I say, okay, I'm confusing them, but it was kind of normal. Sometimes, yeah, red or green or whatever was confusing to me. But when the thing is that I was, for instance, if I ask somebody, is this orange? And somebody says, no, no, this is green. I say, okay. So I accept everything. I'm never sure about what I'm seeing. So I'm never confirming that this is orange. So I am always asking. And when somebody says, no, no, this is not orange, this is green, I say, okay, it's green. So I kind of see it green. So I can keep on dialoguing with people. I can keep on living thinking that that is green. My mind does any kind of arrangement. I don't know how, but I can see it green. So I go ahead with that. But I'm not sure what I am seeing or what you are seeing.
Well,
But I realized that I was colorblind when I started working. I started studying in a art school, which was at the same time at my secondary school, and we started working properly with colors. Somebody told me, but you are colorblind. And I said, wow, really? Say yes, because you don't. I say, yes, yes. I know that I get the colors confused, but anyways, it was okay. It was okay for me. No problem.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Because I'm looking, I can look out my window right now. It's still late spring in North Carolina. And when
Uh-huh.
all the green leaves come out, this is a heavily forested area, but no two trees have the same color leaves in the spring. They all become the same green later on in the summer. But right now I'm seeing so many different shades of green, but I'm betting that you would see all those different shades. They wouldn't necessarily be the same green I'm seeing, but the shading is different. And so to you, you would see all those distinctions probably better than I do.
I don't know. I
Well,
don't know. Yeah, I know that, for instance, I have colleagues that tell me the same. Wow, this is a beautiful landscape because I see 10 different grades of green. And I say, wow, that would be wonderful because I can't see them. Uh, I can't see them actually.
well,
But
it does not show up in your art. What shows up in your art
thank
is
you.
a brilliant eye that you can see things better than most people. And so to find out that you have this condition. By the way, in Spanish, how would you say colorblind? Ciego de
Dal-
color?
daltónico.
Say it again.
Daltónico. Yo soy
Daltónico.
daltónico.
Ah, wow. Okay.
Daltonismo, it's color blindness.
Okay.
Daltonismo.
Daltonismo. Thank you.
Daltonismo.
I just
You're
didn't know
welcome.
if it was something that translated directly, and it doesn't. It's a different word. So,
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting because we also have another one of our judges who maybe I think you've met Rob Pryor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he paints with two hands, but his eyes are closed. So he says for him, he said, I'm out of my body. I'm just painting like that. And so he does that. So his eyes are closed when he's painting, and he does these
Yes.
things here. So it's amazing, different. Anyway, that's why I love working with creatives, because creatives it's such a spiritual thing, art,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
great writing, great art. We're not just paintings, illustration, all these things. It's a spiritual thing and that's part of why I think Hubbard was so keen on celebrating that and helping to encourage it, because you need that. Like I said, the artist injects the spirit of life into a culture, whether it's writing or painting or illustration. You need that, and it's you see it definitely in Hollywood, where we're back at the time when a new style came in of a kitchen or a new style of a car or whatever was on the movie, then everybody had to get that. So you take a look at, like, I just observe it with your book, Scott, on Ender's Game. Like, people, the number of families that introduce their sons Ender to you. It's like, wow, just the inspiration that it creates, because it is a great story, and Ender is a very inspirational character. The art that you do, Ciruelo, and just, it's also great to people listening to this that are artists who are busy trying to find reasons why they can't, should look to reasons how they can despite obstacles. And you're a living example of, like, your desire to create is senior to any physical barriers that get thrown at you. And that's the mark of a true artist, a true creator, is that they can't not paint, they can't not write. It's just, I just see that so much, and I've done lots of, on that podcast, I'm able to celebrate that constantly. I'm just uploaded episode, I think 382. And it's, I've had so many amazing creators over the years that I've had this podcast, just meeting them, just the obstacles they've overcome, the reasons that other people, mere mortals, have said, and I throw in the towel. They say, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get up an extra 2 hours early to do my writing, or I'm going to, memorize the Pantone scale so I can paint colors, knowing what they're supposed to be, like that. I'm just always amazed.
I run into people in autographing sessions or on panels or whatever, people who say, oh, I want to write so much. I want to be a writer. I'm dying to be a writer. And I said, well, are you writing? Are you writing now? And they will say, well, no, not yet. I'm not ready. And I say, no, you don't want to be a writer. If you wanted to be a writer, you would be writing.
Exactly.
And if you aren't writing, you have no desire to be a writer. You just have a desire to have other people think you're a writer. And that's a very different ambition. You want to be a famous writer without doing the work. And, Ciruelo, you have done the work. I mean, you have a body of work that is so amazing that nobody can doubt that you have overcome any obstacle that colorblindness might have been to you, because the evidence is in front of their eyes. And there's no hiding when you have a talent like that. You can't conceal it. You can't pretend that you're not an artist, because you had to do it, right? You had to do it.
I know we got to get out of here in a second, guys, but I was thinking about all of this the other day, because I get a lot of stuff sent to me from the Mars rovers, pictures of the night skies. And recently I was sent a picture of a shot taken by the Webb that shoots through the atmosphere of another planet where they think they might have found the beginnings of life. Anyway, I got to thinking about this. As artists, when y'all see this planet, when you would see this planet through your own eyes, but through its atmosphere, I imagine the colors are going to be vastly different. I mean, our atmosphere dictates a lot of the way our colors come out and the way our eyes actually work. And I'm wondering when you get it, because when you see images of the night sky from Mars, it doesn't look nothing like our sky. I mean, it is fantastically beautiful. It makes the Milky Way going through Utah look like an ugly bucket. And I personally think the one in Utah is beautiful. But when you see the one from Mars, you see blues and purples and big shining stars, and it's just so much different because there's no atmosphere there. So I always think from an artist's point of view, this has got to be fabulous, because it gets my imagination going, which is about yay big. I mean, y'all actually have imaginations. I can only imagine how something that would look, how an artist would take that and transfer that into work.
I'm afraid though that I just don't have that eye, because I have driven or been driven through the Utah desert.
You live one of the most beautiful skies on the planet.
Hundreds and hundreds of hours. And I find it unbelievably bare and ugly. It makes me want to rush to someplace green, because I grew up in the West, the American West, which is all desert. except for Seattle, it's all desert. The greens in California are all gray to me, because when I'm here in the south of the United States, or even in the east, I first noticed this in Rhode Island when I visited there. It's that it looks alive. It looks like God finished making it. And I go to Utah and I go, well, this is the sketch for a landscape that nobody finished. It's not done, and I want more. So, but I don't visualize when I'm writing, when I'm telling stories. People will say, well, what do they look like? What does the heroine of this story look like? And I say, I have no idea. I haven't pictured her. I don't picture her. I just write about what she chooses to do and say. I don't see her.
Well, that's a great way to write, especially if you want it to be a movie.
I am face blind. I can't remember faces. It's embarrassing, but I don't. When I see people now, Ciruelo, you have a remarkable face. I don't think I would ever mistake you for somebody else or not recognize you. But most people's faces kind of blend together. And after having sat at a signing table, I have seen tens of thousands of faces. And it's hard. I mean, I have a picture, a portrait that I bought in New Orleans, sitting on the wall, hanging on the wall in my living room. It's a portrait of my father as a black man. But my father is not a black man, does not look at all that way. But that picture is my dad in profile. And he saw the picture. He came and visited us and saw the picture. He never saw anything because he's never seen himself in profile. And so I look at that picture and I see my dad. But part of that is because I tried. When I was a kid, I drew all the time. I wanted to draw things. And I found that I cannot draw a convincing human face. I can't make one up, and I certainly can't do a portrait. My faces don't look human. They don't even approach the level of a kindergartner drawing stick figures. And I'm just blind to that. Just can't see it. So I think of all artists as being miraculous if they can draw a human that looks like a human. But now I know that there are degrees of miraculousness. And so some are even more miraculous than others.
Yes, yes.
But anyway, I know we got to get out of here.
Yeah, we got to go. But I thank you both. And I also want to remind everybody here in North America that Rise to Future Volume 42 is available still right now. Amazon put it on special, the ebook, for 99 cents, and it's been that for a couple of weeks. I just checked before the show. It's still on right now for 99 cents to get this book with all this amazing cover art, Orson Scott Card story, all the winning art that's in here. It's an amazing publication. And these are your next favorite science fiction and fantasy authors and artists. So take that 99 cents is all it's going to, you're only at 99 cents, which isn't even that's probably the cup. If you went to a Starbucks to get a cup of coffee, just if you bought a cup, you pay 99 cents. So without any coffee in it.
I tell you what I'll do. So as y'all buying the book, send me an email, say you bought the book, and whoever gets to 100 or whoever gets the 100th book first, I got a new lightsaber coming in from my friend in England. It's Kylo Ren's lightsaber, and I will give it to you. It's about an $1,100 lightsaber.
Wow, can I send in 100 books?
No, you can. You're affiliated to the station. Guests and friends are not allowed to get them. I had a good friend of mine go, Joe, you got to give it to me. I said, dude, you make more money than God. I'm not giving you the lightsaber. I mean, this guy is like unbelievably wealthy. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen.
Well, I definitely don't qualify for that.
It's but they're great, and so people just send it in. It's all you got to do. Send it in.
Just go to Amazon.com. It's under Writers of the Future, Volume 42. It's 99 cents right now. If you get it, send the data to Joe, and then that's an amazing offer. Thank you very much, Joe.
Now, Denise, if you want to give me your credit card, you can, but that's not what you got to do. Just take a little screenshot that you purchased the thing and send it to me. Yeah, that's all you got to do. I don't need none of your personal information except where your book's got to go. And you don't even need to send me that until you know you won. Once you know you won, I'll email back and say you won, and then you send me where you want the book sent. As far as I know, there's nowhere we don't mail to.
The book is
I'm not going to give away
I
anything.
mean, not the book, the lightsaber. Sorry.
You're
I'm
going to get
telling you.
nothing free from me. Sorry, that's the way it
It's
is.
well, we get these things, and we give away a few every year. Matter of fact, I met the guy at FanX, well, like 5 years ago, I think,
Yeah.
and he gives away 20 to 30. I think he's been giving away like 30, 35 a year with us during the holidays, and we always give away anywhere from 500 to 2,500 books every year. I always tell artists to send me work, I'll give it away as well, but they never do, so it's always ends up being books and stuff. So every now and then, an illustrator will send me some work to give away, but or I mean, 4 times a week, 5 million people or more see this spot behind me. Four times a week, that's 20 million people that see this spot. And I tell people all the time, you got a book you want to sell, you got a book people want to see, you got a really cool picture that you want to put up for sale that people can find, send it to me and I'll set it up there, or I'll set it on one of the walls with some of the other stuff. Because in the end, actually, this show was actually designed. We've been working on this show really hard to really help artists to be able to push stuff out. Now I know you two guys don't or do well for yourselves, but for a lot of people who come on the network, or I should say on the show, are up and coming, so they can use whatever little help they can get their little fingers on. But we like to put them up there because we like to promote artists. The one they're always after is the Frank Frazetta, which you can't see, it's behind me over there, but everybody knows it's back there. I quit putting it behind me because every time I put it on, I get like 500 emails. When are you giving it away? I said, I'm not giving it away. It's mine. It's not going anywhere. It's mine.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
I
the
get
one with this art on it. But we also, it's the one that was the painting, but it was signed by him.
yes.
So,
It's let me see.
It's a print. It's a very high quality lithograph.
It's very there it is right there. It's very high quality, but it's signed and numbered the whole 9 yards, and it's the in between batch, so it's actually a special run to boot. So it's back there, and it's usually lit up and got a little pink light and cute stuff. And then there's some other famous artists that you can see their stuff.
When you're facing away from the mic, we're getting nothing from you.
Yeah, because I'm on the back side of the mic. I got it on the front direction right now instead of omni mic, so it's picking up everything. Because it's hot in the studio, so I got one of the ACs running. It's but anyway, and I'm not giving that away, Jesse. No, I'm still trying to get Sarah to give me another one. She's like, no, Joe.
Yeah, she'll give it to you for $1,200, Joe.
She's an expensive girl, man. She's an expensive date, people. It's a good thing I know her old man. It doesn't help me get a picture though. Oh, we lost Scott. No, Dean. Because we got to go. We're getting ready to go, and I know it's got to be getting pretty late.
Ciruelo, so was it midnight for you right now, Ciruelo?
Yeah. So it's
midnight.
Yeah. Midnight in Barcelona. That's got to be a beautiful place to be midnight at, I got to say.
Yes, it is.
Barcelona,
Beautiful
Spain is
city.
a beautiful city. Jimmy, it's an old city. It's got character to it.
It's called the City of Dragons.
Yeah, it's the city of dragons. Actually, dragons rule here in Catalonia.
Cool.
Exactly.
Denise and Jean, both Orson and Ciruelo's websites are up, so they're going to be on all of our social media pages. It posts automatically. So if you want to get something, just go there. And let me put Scott back in with us. Just go to the websites. Like both their websites up, so you can go shopping for yourselves. Go take a look around. Well, I wanted to get into his dragons, but for some reason the internet between us was giving us trouble today. But because as soon as you go on his front page, you see the black dragon, or I should say the black dragon and the white dragon, which are both fabulous looking dragons. But there's a lot of artwork in there you can go through and peruse.
And if you search Orson Scott Card, you'll see all the different books. And I was going to also, because we were talking about fantasy that Ciruelo was writing. Because I remember reading Magic Street. That was your urban fantasy story back in the early 2000s, and so which I really enjoyed. So, I mean, you're all over the place with your science fiction, your fantasy, urban fantasy. You're just like, you're a writer who can't not write.
Yes. Hey, it's a good thing you want to write. Michael, I don't have any audiobooks. I'm out. I'm done. I give them away. You know how I am when I'm finished with them. I give them away. There's only 2 I keep, and that's because I use them every year. Oh, you want that disc, that War of the Worlds Orson Welles disc? No, you can't have that. That's special disc, signed, numbered. You can't have that. It's got his original signature on it. That's not going anywhere. That's staying in my collection. because it's the original broadcast. It's all the commercials, all it's the broadcast that made people think that the aliens were invading. That's the original. I have the original broadcast. It's fabulous to listen to. And you can tell, if you were in the right mindset, you can tell why people freaked out when you're listening to it. Because the guy doing the commercials, you're like, really? And the more you listen to him, you think, what the hell? It might not work too well in today's society, but back then I can honestly see why what happened. I really can.
Well, it was all live. It was all live.
It was all live, and so that makes a big difference in the world. Jimmy, we're always live. We frown on pre-records. We do them because we have a lot of guests for overseas and stuff, and we have to accommodate, because people need sleep and rest and work. But we prefer live. Yeah, we always have, and we prefer unrehearsed live when we can do it. Because the shows are always better that way. You never know what's going to come out of it. It's also why the network has as many listeners as it does. But we got to go, Ciruelo. You were fabulous. Sky, fabulous as always. Hopefully I'll see both of y'all soon somewhere around. I know everybody likes to travel in different circles and get out there. And I know you're over there in Europe, so it's going to be hard for you to even want to come on this side of the world. It's so boring.
We'll be seeing you in September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you come out here for the opening of the Lucas Museum.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? South America is not like Europe. I mean, there's places in South America like Europe, but South America itself is not like Europe. I've been to South America, my friend, a couple times.
I lived in Brazil for 2 years.
It's. We'll just say it like this. It's like the United States was 80 years ago. How's that? It's the easiest way I could say it. Unless you're in a really big city, it's just different. It's not dangerous. I mean, it can be dangerous, but it's not like our media tells you. You're not going to go down to South America and they're going to kill you because you're an American. I can tell you that. Most people want to be your friends when you're down there because you're an American. Yeah, it's you can't ever trust the media. What can I tell you? But we got to go and thank everyone for tuning in today. We got another show coming up in 40 minutes or so with a bunch of crazy people. So y'all can come check them out. It's open topic tonight too, I believe. I think it's it's definitely open topic tonight. Gene, there might be some UFO stuff. You never know because we keep getting new documents. A friend of mine from Brazil just sent me all that release from Brazil, and then we got some stuff the Fed sent us, and I got a lot of friends in the government, so they send me a lot of crap. And my problem is I have not seen anything released by any government that I don't have something better on my own personal files. So I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, on that note, we got to go. Thanks again for tuning in to the Authors Quill with all the guys. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Of course, if you have any moans, groans, bitches, or complaints, feel free to write to Michelle DeRoche. She always loves to hear from y'all. Yes, she threatens to fire me all the time. She just can't because I own the place. Anyway, on that note, good night, everybody.